Hello to all my friends from Live a Home SG. Today, I'm super excited to continue our part 2 of Real Talk on Legacy Planning, where Thomas and I have been in serious debate on what topics you guys would be interested to know. And in our most efficient manner, we have compiled 3 most commonly asked questions, which I'm sure if you have been watching my part 1, you will realize Live a Home SG's mission is to provide you authentic insights to help you in your legacy planning journey. For those of you who are watching this and are keen to find out how you can properly plan your legacy planning from A to Z, feel free to leave a comment below for any questions you have in mind. And do remember to click like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly legacy insights. So here again, we have our favorite person, Thomas from Red Brick, who has been in this industry for more than a decade and has helped countless families to achieve financial freedom and diversified assets planning. In our part 1, we also shared that Thomas is a certified estate planner and is extremely passionate in helping more families reach our legacy planning dream. So Thomas, in your opinion, is investing in real estate one of the best ways to plan for legacy planning? And if yes, how can one kickstart financially?
Okay, thanks Kelly. So actually in theory, the best way is actually a balanced portfolio. However, in Singapore, real estate is a preferred asset class as it serves dual function, own stay and investment. So this is also actually reflected in our almost 90% home ownership in Singapore. And because real estate is scarce, right, you only hear cooling measures being announced, right? And prices always seem to increase year after year after year. So as such, time in the market is more important than timing the market, right? So I think to kickstart, right, you need to build your strategy into first short-term plans, medium-term plans, and long-term plans. So when you have the whole entire details and the entire scope of it, right, you can then plan there step by step.
Right. Then can you give us some example of what do you mean by short, medium, and long-term plan?
Sure, definitely, Kelly. So, an example of a short-term plan, right, guys, would be if you want to buy a first property, what is your budget, what's the purpose of it, and if there's any potential upside in this particular property.
Right. How about a medium plan?
Now, a medium-term plan would be probably in about a 10-year horizon period. So maybe you have outgrown a property, maybe your family has grown, maybe you become more affluent. And also another question, right, that most people tend to have these days is, should I own more than one piece of property in Singapore?
So Thomas, can you share with us what do you mean by the long-term plan?
Sure, Kelly. So basically a long-term plan is your end game. So some people want to own a few properties, some people want to sell everything and keep the cash. And for some other folks, right, they want to actually have a property that can house 3 generations. So when you answer the above questions well enough, right, you'll be able to guide you through what is required of you in life and at work. Now, the objectives and goals of individuals do differ a little bit. Now, I think it's best to speak with a consultant in order to plan and review this together in the long run so that they'll review every step of the way.
Definitely, and you know whom I will speak to if I need a consultant, isn't it? Okay, I have another question. What are the common pitfalls you observe in young investors or new investors into legacy planning?
Okay, this is my own experience. Young investors tend to think of legacy planning as something for the elderly, the unwell, or the ultra-rich. But it cannot be further from the truth. This is actually for everybody. So some folks who own a property might say, oh, I will just sell the property. But what happens if the market is not ideal at the point of time? Right? What happens if the people that you leave behind, right? One person wants to sell the property, another person wants to keep the property.
Right.
How does that go at the point of time, right?
Yep.
And the thing is that a lot of people don't take into consideration that things might happen at any time. It doesn't happen when you want it to, right? It happens anytime and when you least expect it. So one such thing is real estate. If it's left to a minor, what's going to happen, right? Because they can't own a property. Or what happens if you leave a large amount of cash to somebody who is financially immature, right? Maybe instead of taking it to further their studies, they might buy a sports car, buy an expensive watch,
Right. It sounds so scary already. Right.
Yes.
And so I'm sure the next question most of us will want to know, if you're given a magic wand, what would you do for your own legacy planning?
Okay, so I think we're not fortune tellers, we're not clairvoyants, we can't foresee the future. But in hindsight, if I know what I know today, I think I bought the most expensive property when I could afford it, right? And also bought more insurance. And I think I also want to discuss with my partner, right, on decisions like for funds and for real estate. and to discuss things like LPA, lasting power of attorney, and advanced medical directives. So, get all these things out of the way first, and then as a couple, as a unit, you can go further, faster together.
Right. Never really thought about this, but I think some of us may not be so clear, or we don't really understand what is LPA and AMD. Can you share with us what it is?
So sure. So lasting power of attorney means what happens if I am not able to make a sound decision? Maybe I'm mentally incapacitated, right? So this person that you appoint will be able to act in your best interest. Of course, it must be somebody you trust.
Right.
Yeah. And advanced medical directive, right, means that, let's say, for example, if I need to be on life support, right? Do I want to be on life support? Because sometimes it's not fair for your family members to make a decision for you.
Right.
So you leave them out of this heartbreak or heartache, and then you decide whether you want to extend your life or not extend your life.
Right.
Right? This is a heavy topic, but yeah, it has to be covered.
Yeah, I think we should do another topic altogether on this. Because recently one of my clients was also asking me about this, and they are quite not too sure what to do, for their current setting. Well, we'll leave it for the next episode. So Thomas, in layman terms, a lot of us are not quite sure what is legacy planning versus estate planning. Can you share with us what are the differences?
Yeah, sure. So these two words have been used interchangeably, and unless you're in the industry, it seems to have no difference, right? But loosely put, both estate planning and legacy planning has got to do with distributing our assets when we pass on. Now, the difference is that estate planning's focal point is on your physical and tangible assets, whereas for legacy planning, it revolves more around the intangible portion. Now, for example, estate planning will be to allocate a sum of money or a portion of assets to a person, and the person is free to do what they will with the inheritance they receive, maybe buy a sports car, earlier we mentioned, right, or an expensive watch,
That's right.
or a house, right?
Okay.
Now, legacy planning, on the other hand, is allocating money to enhance the quality of the beneficiary's life. So perhaps a sum of money to pay towards further education, for a wedding, for own home, or when you have children. So milestones in a person's life.
Right. Well, thank you, Thomas, for being here.
Thank you.
For these past 2 episodes, I know that you have been very patient with us. And we really appreciate your valuable insights on legacy planning and estate planning. And I'm very sure we'll have more things to learn from you in the near future. If you have any questions you would like us to help you address, do let us know in the comment below, and we'll be so excited to hear from you too. Next week, we'll be having another guest who specializes in estate planning and will be giving us her 2 cents worth about what she experienced and how she can help each of us to resolve our problems. Stay tuned for our weekly honest truths on legacy planning, and we'll see you in our next episodes. I'm Kelly from Live a Home SG.
I'm Thomas from Red Brick.
Live a home, we take your home as our own. Bye!